Hi everybody, it's Marcy with Chunky Knitted Creations again. Chunk is in the repair shop right now. He's a little worse for the wear. I may have to rebuild him, so I'm on my own again. Today we are going to do the famous octopus tutorial. Lots of people are posting these in my group and everybody was asking for a tutorial. And I've never done one before, but it looked simple enough, so I'm gonna just wing it. Actually, I did practice a different type last night. So I'm going to do this one in purple. This is not a full skein of my yarn, just so you know, but this is the purple color that I just released. I call it lavender. So you'll need about 3/4 of a skein, maybe less, depending on how big you want your octopus. And then the usual poly-fill, your lighters, your scissors, whatever you want to use for 2 eyes on it. Pom-poms look really cute. You could just use black yarn and put 1 stitch in there. Surface crochet one with just, you know, if you knit through the outside, or you could do the plastic eyes that you buy from Amazon that I've done in other tutorials. For this one, I'm going to do googly eyes because I think they're adorable on octopus for some reason. They just seem to fit better. So I was lucky to find some of these in my craft stash. And at the end, I'm going to have a little surprise that we'll add on to it to make it even better. Okay, let's get started. So, like any other plushie, you're going to start out making a chain, and so we can make the body. And this one, I'm going to cast on 10 and leave a tail, you know, long enough to cinch up the bottom, probably, you know, 8 to 10 inches. And let's cast on 10 reasonably sized stitches. Let's make them just barely 2 fingers. That should be plenty. Hope you guys are enjoying all these new summer colors that I'm bringing out. I know they're cheering me up a little. I got sad that there's no chunky blankets in the summer. Nobody wants to cover up with them and nobody orders them, and everything kind of just slows down in my group. And so this year I decided I'm not gonna let that happen. I am gonna find all kinds of summer stuff. That's why I did that watermelon pillow tutorial and the bumblebees and all the other ones that I'm making now. You know, I don't mean to brag, but this is just the fluffiest yarn ever. I mean, look at that. You'll see it. Or when you touch it, you'll believe me. I mean, that wasn't even a whole skein, and look how big it is. But I can't stress enough, you do have to let it decompress and fluff it up a little, because compressed yarn is just, it just gets like that. So let's see where we're at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I need 2 more. This is a pretty basic, easy tutorial. I love this plushie because it's good, like if you're starting out as a beginner and you want to start them, or you want to teach somebody or a younger person. They love, you know, the teens, they'll do plushies. They don't have the patience to do a blanket. All right, so again, just like any other plushie, we need to make a circle. Okay, so we're gonna go like that. Take your leftover piece that we're gonna cinch with, stick it through the hole of the first stitch here, or last stitch here, sorry. I like to go from the outside in. Okay, bring it together nice and tight. Pop that stitch up a little bit just to get it even closer. And I have been really good about remembering my stitch markers, aka my hair clips. Okay, so keep this piece out of the way. As you've seen in my other videos, I accidentally knit it a couple times. It's frustrating because you run out of yarn. You're like, wait a minute, what happened? I thought I had a whole skein. Nope, just knitted my tail. Yep. All right, knit through the top of every stitch in your circle here. Through the top, not the middle, not the bottom. We're going to use the bottom of the stitches to close it up, okay? Do this so that it's nice and smooth on the bottom. If you were to knit through the middle, it would just, you'd have a big bulges sticking off the bottom when you go to cinch it. Okay. This camera angle should work good for this tutorial because it's not a huge plushie. I made that bumblebee gigantic and I couldn't hardly fit him on the screen. All right. Let me see. I got that through tight enough. Make sure I counted 10. Sometimes I accidentally knit through these twice and I get an extra stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay. So 8 works really good too if you want a smaller one, because 8 tentacles on an octopus and you're gonna pull up 8 stitches on the bottom to add the tentacles. So I'm gonna do like 4 on each side of him and leave a little gap in the middle. I just wanted it to be bigger. I did another plushie with 8 stitches and it just wasn't as big as I wanted this octopi to be, or these octopi to be. Okay, I spoiled the secret. I'm gonna do another one, a different type in the end that matches this one. I am not one that can keep secrets. I don't know about you guys, but man, when it's like a fun secret or a gift or something, I'm terrible with my daughter's Christmas presents. I always want to give them to her early, and her birthday presents and all that, and she's like, no, no, no. I'm like, are you sure? I could just give you this one now and you'll have something. She's a smart kid. She say, no, I wait till Christmas. I wait till my birthday, then I won't have anything to open. So I spoiled the secret. I'm gonna make another octopus in the end when I said octopi. All right, we're gonna do 10 rows around. So it's cast on 10 and knit 10 rows up for this one. It makes it simple. There we go. Just make sure you, when you're doing these stitches, sorry, I get off camera here. You don't want to just, go like that. Okay, you're going to have that big gap between there. Hold them together. Okay, and then push your yarn through the back with your finger. Okay, then look how tight together they are. Okay, so that way you don't get big gaps, seams or whatever in between your stitches. If I just go like this and don't hold them together, see, I end up with just too much there. And then when you go to stuff it, you'll see your polyfill. And that's our goal, is to not see the polyfill. And even with me doing my stitches this big, to where you can fit almost 1.5 fingers in there, sometimes, when you go to stuff it, depending on how much polyfill you need to add to get it to the shape that you want, I still end up seeing them. So you might want to go tighter to just barely 1 finger. And then if you do that, you might want to add on an extra row, make it 11 instead of 10. Just if you want it to be, a little bit bigger. It's up to you. Again, most of my patterns are very flexible. You can cast on 12 and make an even bigger octopus. And then, do 12 up or do 14 up if you want them taller. It's up to you. But we're just going to go 10 and 10. To make it easy, just knit and stitch, knit and stitch, knit and stitch. This is one of my beginner level plushies, I will say. And that's fun because when you can make something super easy and it doesn't take a long time, you have a lot more fun and you'll want to make a lot more of them. Before you know, you'll have 100 of these little guys running around your house. The watermelon pillow was very challenging. I don't think I'll never want to make one of those again. I'm glad I got the 2 that I did for my patio. I have a feeling some family members are going to see them and beg me to make them one, and I'll end up doing it because I can never say no to family. I bet you all have the same problem, especially the youngsters. When I do plushies and my great niece sees one, of course I'm going to give it to her. Every time she leaves here, she goes home with a bag full of stuff that I've knitted. Sure, her mom just loves it. I've made her blankets and baby blankets and American Girl doll size stuff. Can't really make any Barbie doll size things with chunky yarns. I mean, a little bit, but it's kind of hard because chunky yarn's so thick. But if your kids in your life, girls, boys, whatever, have any dolls that are the size of like an American Girl doll or My Life doll, the 24 or 18-inch dolls they call them. You can make a lot of cute stuff. My slipper tutorial, you can do that and just cast on 4 and make tiny little slippers that match. I've made a sleeping bag. Let's see, the way I do that is if you follow my purse tutorial, the way you do the bottom of the purse, that's basically how I do a sleeping bag. And I just keep knitting up the back. And like my purse tutorial that I just released is a messenger bag type. So you can, if you look at that, you can kind of figure out how to make a sleeping bag for a doll. If anybody really needs to make one, and you know, for a family member that they just know would love it and they want to do that, you want to do that for a birthday present or something, just come to the group and message me, private message me, and I'll walk you through it. I'll send you pictures of the one that I made. And if it's really popular and you guys really, really, really want me to, I will definitely do a tutorial for you. So, and then the blanket for a doll like that, super easy to just make a tiny little blanket. The doll's 18 inches, so I'd make it about 12 inches long to cover it up to the neck. Okay, getting off track. Sorry about that. I tend to ramble on a bit when I knit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, we're at 7 and we need to go 10. Yay, I could talk some more. Okay, if you have any questions about, again, how to knit this or anything else that I've done a tutorial on, feel free to comment. YouTube, for some reason, is not notifying me when I have comments, even though I set it up properly. So, you can come to the group. It's just a lot easier. And there's a lot of other talented knitters there that can help too. And again, way more tutorials even in the group. Probably have at least 15 more besides mine. So yeah, and it's building every day. All right, this purple is so fluffy. Make a great baby blanket. Purple and pink together. Love it. All right, I think we still need 2 more rows. And then we're gonna cast it off. I know it doesn't look very round right now, but kind of looks more like a sock. Just think of all the things that you could make with this shape. If you got any ideas for something new that you've never seen Chunky knitted, again, make a comment here or come to the group and tell me, and we'll see what we can do. I like a challenge. I think this might be row 10. Blankets take a long time. Plushies are fast. They give you more of a sense of accomplishment. If you're getting frustrated with a blanket taking too long, just whip up a quick plushie and make you feel better. Some blankets I've done have taken me forever if I try a new stitch, or if I'm doing a graph blanket or a huge blanket. All right, let's see where we're at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, we just finished 10. Actually, I gotta stitch this one more time. There we go. Now we are at 10, so we're gonna close up the bottom just like we've done all the others. All right, so when you unclip that, it's going to be a little loose because that's where we started. So hurry up and pull out on your tail here. It's from the outside in. So your tail will be in here. You want to come on the outside and push, you know, in. And we do the opposite at the other end, just because, you know, they're different type of stitches. This is like the loops, and then here we're knitting through an actual chain. All right, I did that one. And this purple yarn is a little fluffier than the last color that I used, so I'm gonna cinch every stitch pretty much to make sure that I can get the bottom closed up. So don't be afraid to tug on it, but then again, don't get raw with it and make it break on you, because if it breaks right in here, it's really hard. You have to pull it apart and burn your piece back together and then try and redo it. So Sorry. Okay, we're getting there. As you can see, the hole is half closed. I'll try to do this from the top. He's not too big. So from this, he's on the tail's on the inside. Gonna go to the outside of the stitch, pull through, grab the stitch that you just pulled through, hold on to it, and pull the tail. All right, so again, stitch, push through, hold the yarn, grab a hold of the stitch, put your fingers on both sides of it is what I do, and then pull that yarn, and you'll see it start to cinch shut. All right. Oh, I've made a bunch of tutorials recently. I tend to do them that way. I just do them in bulk. And my wrists, I've had 2 surgeries for carpal tunnel, and it does not feel good. A little better today than yesterday. Okay, so just about that's about as small as you're gonna get it. And when you tie a knot here and push it through, it'll fill that hole. Let's see. Yeah. All right, I can pull a little tighter. And then if you end up having too big of a hole here, you can try to just go through every stitch again. It'll be a little tough, but you can do it. And sometimes that will fill the hole more, okay? See how it pretty much seemed, or closed it up all the way when I did that? And I only went through one extra stitch. This stitch I actually went through with a loop twice. So now you will tie your knot right here. Some people push this through and then go on the inside and tie. That's up to you. To me, it's just too hard. I can't seem to get down in there. So I just tie my knot from the outside and then shove the string and the knot. And then I go inside and grab the string and give it a tug and make sure, see that you got that little bump. And then you can push it back out a little bit to even it out if you want. So there you go. This is going to be the bottom of the octopus, and we're going to do our pull up our stitches for our tentacles down here. But first, let's stuff him and then close up the top. So you'll grab your poly-fil. And you're going to need a hot glue gun if you use these kind of, well, pretty much any kind of eyes, unless you use the snap-on ones. You don't need a whole lot of poly-fil for this one either. I'm going to stuff him about halfway, and then I'm going to start closing him up, because when you have your poly-fil up to the top and you start dragging your yarn across it to close up this, you'll get poly-fil stuck all over your yarn. It's kind of a pain. So make sure this can go around. I would say just once is probably going to be good for this one because it's smaller. And you don't want to waste yarn, so, you know, measure to where your piece of yarn can go all the way around once, and then you can cut it. All right, so from the inside out here, okay, so you take your last string and bring it from the inside through the hole and out. Okay, and you don't have to cinch. This is a smaller one, so I'm not going to cinch it all to the very end because I like to watch the magic happen. That's what I call it. I love cinching these up. I know I'm weird. Chunky yarn is my life. I remember the very first time I saw it. Walked in Walmart, saw some sparkly chunky chenille, and just, that was it. It was all downhill. I was hooked. I just went home and started checking YouTube and looking for tutorials and what you could do with it. And I believe that was before TikTok was famous. There you go. So you keep going through each stitch. Make sure you're facing them the same way. You don't want to twist them back and forth, or you'll end up with a kind of a weird look at the top there. All right, so I'm all done. I'm going to hold on to this second to the last stitch, because once I cinch this together, I want to go through this one more time to secure it. It's up to you if you want to do that. So now, before I cinch it up, I will put in the rest of my poly-fil. I'm just going to mark that there so I don't forget to do it. Okay, he doesn't want to stand up yet. I'm sorry. This one's gonna be a girl. I name my plushies. I name my blankets. Yes, I know. I'm weird. All right, so just make sure you're, you know, getting it to the shape that you want. You're gonna close this up. So kind of see, you know, does that look about the shape I want my thing? And then you can close it up a little bit and see if you can add more. All right, so now this is where I go through that again. You don't have to do this. I just do. I feel like it makes it more secure. See? All right, now here's the magic. Grab and pull. And pull. And then tuck and straighten. And look at that. It's beautiful. So I like to use this as the top of his head. His, her. And because it just looks prettier. And then this piece just a little bumpier. So I'm going to use this and make it where I'm going to put the tentacles. So my plushies end up being not quite round, but there you go. So 10 and 10, cast on 10. All right, I'm going to cut this because I don't need that much yarn, and I will use that string somewhere. So you don't have to if you want to shove all that down inside there. You know what you can do with all these little extra strings, put them in a bag. If you ever run out of polyfill and you need to stuff something, so push this down in just like you did at the bottom. But anyways, I've had a bag of that sitting, and I was in a pinch one day and I needed to stuff a plushie for a tutorial or something I was doing. I would never sell it like that, but I didn't have enough polyfill, so I filled it with yarn scraps and it turned out great. Okay, all right, now we are going to add the tentacles. You can do these a solid color, or you can add some color in. I'm gonna do basic ones. 1 second, I gotta grab something. Okay, sorry about that. I just wanted to make sure I had enough purple yarn before I did this. So I added on a tentacle just to see how much it was gonna take, and I think I would have ran out. So anyways, let me undo this. I shouldn't have did that off the camera. Okay, so to add on your tentacles, find the bottom of them, pull up a stitch. So here's your center, so get it as close to the center as you can. You can't pull anything through here. Find one of your openings here, okay, which is one of your rows, and then grab your yarn like this, just a little bit hanging out, push it through one of the holes, okay, and pull it out to about how big you want your loop to be, and you'll see when I do the rest. I need a little more there. Okay, so I'm going to do about 2 fingers big for my loops, and now I'm just going to keep pulling loops, single loop strand, one through another. Grab it, pull it through. Now it'll be on this side. Grab it, pull it through. You can feel free to use something more colorful. I was just trying to demonstrate this color of yarn that I have. You can put 2 colors together here and loop one after another. You can braid. There's just so many things you can do to make these octopi more decorative. Sorry. So just get it about to the length that you want it. I think I did about 15 stitches. We'll count them after we're done here. You just keep pulling through, hold your stitch out, pull through. Okay, just like you're doing a cast on for a blanket, or casting on your first row of a blanket. All right, only it's attached to something. All right, let's see. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's go 15, 13, 14, 15, and okay, let's see about how long that is. That looks perfect to me for this size. Sorry, I can't get it all on camera for you, but that looks good to me. But you can see the picture, the main picture that I did. And so then when you get to the end, just cut your yarn about maybe 4 inches. Leave a little tail. Okay, pull it back through the last loop and pull tight to tighten it. Okay, and then it's up to you. A lot of people just leave this like that. They like the look of it. I'm going to trim mine a little bit and just leave it. Put it off to the side there. Trim off the fuzzies. You can even burn this a little bit just to keep, to seal off the yarn so it doesn't. There you go. And then that way you won't get so many fuzzies flying off of it in the future. Okay, so go back up here where you've got, where you first started, and you've got that little piece sticking in there. What I do to secure it is bring it up through, this is the inside of the tentacle, bring it up through the hole of the first stitch, okay, and then bring it back through. Okay, just kind of weave it through, and then you can burn it to the side of it. It's just a little too long for me, so I'm gonna just burn it to that first stitch, because I burn everything. Okay, there. So now you can't even see that piece that was inside there, and this is how your tentacle looks. Okay, so okay, now we just do 8 more of those, and I'm gonna put them real close together. I'm just gonna skip 1 row, and because I have 10 here and 8 tentacles, I'm gonna do 4 on this side right here, and then skip 2 and then do 4 on this side, just so it's even. All right, make sure you make them, you know, the same length. If your stitches end up being bigger on this side than they were that side, just add 1. So I counted 15. I'm going to do this fast for you. Let me unwind the rest of my yarn. The inside of it, the inside of a skein is usually compressed pretty good, and I can't remember if I fluffitated this one before. I don't think I did. And you will see another great thing about my yarn is there's almost never any knots. Once in a while I'll see one, like maybe 1 per skein, and not even that. I hate buying yarn. I've even had it happen to me with the big name brands from the craft stores. The most famous one, I won't say their name, but the black yarn from them recently has just been horrible. Like a knot, like every, I don't know, 12 inches there's a knot. And I don't like that. I won't have a knot in my blanket at all, so I'm cutting and burning and cutting and burning them all together, and it's like I'm doing a graph blanket and I'm just making a solid black. So usually, again, most skeins of mine will not have any knots. 1 at the most. I think at one time I've seen 2, and that was it. And it was right at the, you know, very beginning of the skein where they just had an extra piece and thought they would give it to me. I'm like, I would be rather you just leave that. But they do. Another thing too, if yarn is compressed, I'm going to teach you all about compressed yarn so you know what you're getting after, because everybody on Amazon is the same. Yarn that's compressed right after it's been dyed, when you open it, like if they just made the batch and it only sat around for a couple days and then they compressed it, it didn't get time to really air out, even though they do wash it once, it is going to smell like dye when you first get it. A quick run through in your washer on delicate cycle will get rid of that if it bothers you. I've had it happen with lots of competitors too. Okay, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It looks the same length to me. They both look almost the same here. So, like I said, one of my stitches might have been bigger, so I only needed 14 on this side to make them the same. Whereas I needed... Sorry, I got a notification again. Stupid phone. Always happens. So I only needed 14 to make it the same length. So pull it through the end, just like we did before. Tighten it so that you're kind of sealed off there. And then just cut it and leave some little danglies. They look cute, if that's how you want to do it. Or you can weave them through if you want them to look solid. Weave them through like we did there. Alright, we have 8 more to go. Normally I would just cut the tutorial off here because, you know, you can pretty much get it. But I want to show you guys the whole thing this time because it's such a simple one to do. So it won't take too long. Some of my plushie tutorials end up being 2 hours long, it seems like. All right, so pull through again, 1 stitch. I've got them this close together. Okay, just follow a row that you have. Don't knit that. And just pull through your stitches. Just like you would for a blanket. Hold on to your loop. Pull one through the back. Hold on like right here at the knot. I call it. Pull through. Grab another one. It's gonna go side to side like. So now my working yarn will be on this side. It'll make it flatter if you do that. Okay. Now I'm gonna pull through on the right. Now I'm gonna pull through on the left. So just go right, left, okay? Kind of like when you're braiding. All right. Left. And then just straighten them as you go. Push through the back. And you'll know when you get to the length of your other one that you're done, if you don't feel like counting them every time. Like I said before, if I don't measure my stitches to make them identical, you know, I can't just do 15 each time. Like I did 14 on this one and they were the same. 14 here and 15 here and they came out the same length. All right, let's see what I got though here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I'm gonna do one more and make these 14. I think I've been making my stitches a little bigger than I did the first time. All right, 14. Cut you a piece. Grab the piece that you cut off, pull it through the back of the last loop, and then just pull tight. And then it'll almost make it like a knot. And then you can trim it and make them all the same size. All right, let's give him one more on this side of his body. Good thing I went and got more yarn. So maybe, I guess, closer to a whole skein, depending. Again, my skeins are sold by weight, so they're not all the same exact measurements, but you won't see one at the least 29. I've measured a ton of them. One of them, so again, pulling up another stitch right next to that one. Sorry, I get talking and forget what I'm teaching. Pull through loops again. Anyways, 29, I've seen that occasionally, but it's 250 grams by weight. So again, your darker yarns are going to be heavier because they're soaked with more dye. And so they might be a little shorter. So those might be 30. Okay. My ivory yarn, I measured quite a few of them and they were 33 yards. So I had to put on Amazon average 30 to 33 yards. But again, almost all of them that I measured were closer to 33 than they were 30. So that's why I can't just say you need, you know, exactly 2 skeins of yarn, because you might have extra or you might just run a little bit short. So if it's 2 skeins and I have a bunch left over, then I know, okay, you only need 2 skeins of yarn. Life. All right, we're getting there. Try to knit these and then just kind of pull on it as you go too. Chunky yarn stretches. I say that in all my videos. So when you're making something that's going to be hanging off the side of something or get pulled on, let me count. You'll want to make it a little shorter. Like scarves, always make them shorter than you want them to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is why I said about the knots, because I seen one for the first time in a long time. So I'm actually going to cut that one out because it'll drive me nuts. And then, so just cut the knot out, throw it away. Or you can leave it if it doesn't bother you. A lot of people don't like to burn at all. So when they're making blankets and they tie on another, or have to add their next skein, they will just tie them together. So they don't care about the knots. I don't do that. I did that with my very first blanket. And when I washed it, everything came apart. and I tied them good. Another option is sewing your ends together, which takes a lot of time, but it's extremely secure. I've never had a problem with burning if you know what you're doing and you massage them together and squeeze them. All right, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All right, so 14 seems to be the standard here for me. Careful you don't cut your fingers if you cut real close like I do. All right, all that. See, I didn't even have to trim that one, and they're all four pretty much the same. Okay, so because we did 10, if I were to do every hole, then I'm going to end up with a gap in the back. So I'm going to do them on the side. Like this is going to be the side of the octopus, and then this is going to be his face, and then this is going to be the other side. So I'm going to leave a gap of actually just one, so that there's one in the front and one in the back. So we'll make this his face. So I did this row and put one off here. I'm going to skip this row and go to this one. So there's only going to be a tiny little gap in the front. If you want to do it that way, you could cast on 8. It'll make a smaller one. That way you'll fill every hole. It's just, you know, octopus has 8 tentacles, and that's what we got to deal with. So you're going to end up with another one. And I didn't go back in and finish these off. I want to do that really quick. Sorry. Weave him back through on the inside of these. When I first pulled up my stitch, I showed you how to do it on the first one, but I forgot to on the last one. Sorry. So this is just hanging there. So just take it and do, I mean, you can just burn it right together if you want, but I like to pull it through one of the stitches just to make sure. And then you can weave it all the way through if you want, which is quicker. And then burn it however you want it. So I always go through my plushies when I'm done and make sure that I've did all that correctly. All right, so there's nothing hanging there. Okay, this one, because that could easily pull out, you know. So sorry, I'm off camera again. I don't like this angle, you guys. I really like to have it across for me because then I'm never off camera. But I need to do whatever is best for you guys to be able to see. So if you like this angle, I will keep it up. It don't bother me that much. Okay, so back at it. This is the piece that you want to, you know, finish off in the end. You could do it after your second stitch if you want, so that you don't forget. It's up to you. Yeah, I think I might exchange this camera stand for a different one so that I can get it higher up in the air. It looked like it was a lot higher up in the picture. Alright, pull him closer to you. You can see all those tentacles hanging there, sorry. It's the same thing over and over again though for all 8 of them. I really wish I would have known how to do chunky knitting, hand knitting when my daughter was little. She would have loved it. Now she's a teenager and she's not, you know, so crazy about stuffed animals or anything. But she does like learning how to make them. So we're just at a different stage in life. But I just sit and think about all the wonderful things I could have made for her. She still has a couple of plushies that I've made, and she will keep them forever. She says nothing better than being able to give somebody a handmade gift. To me, I just love it because they know that you really cared and you took time with it, and they'll treasure it. Okay, let me see where I'm at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Can I get number 14 with that little tiny piece? Nope. See, this is called playing yarn chicken, and I didn't win. The chicken won. So luckily I have my extra pieces over here, but I need just a tiny bit more to finish that off. I don't know if you ever played yarn chicken when making a blanket. No, it's not fun. I usually lose and end up having to go and buy another skein. Alright, so I wasn't paying attention there and I burnt that a little too big. There's a little black mark. See that? So that can happen sometimes to us. What I do, I'll show you in just a sec. I'm not burning my stuff really good today. Luckily this one's just going to be a sample. All right, so see that black mark? If it were on a blanket, it would drive me insane. So you can go through and just kind of trim it off a little bit. You can get most of it off and then rub together and cover it with your fluff, rest of your fluff. But it's still a little bit black. That doesn't look good on ivory blankets, let me tell you. So you gotta really pay attention. If it was an ivory blanket, I would have just cut it off completely and redid it. All right, I've got 14. Cut that off, leave it there for the next yarn chicken. We are on tentacle number 5. Pull that tight. Leave a little bit. Throw that over there. All right, I'm going to... All right, so again, sorry, I should show you this every time. This was the first stitch at the beginning of the tentacle. Feed it through at least once just to secure it, and then go back through another loop. Okay, and then you can, you know, depending on what you want to do, if you're comfortable with it like that, if you want to burn it or leave it, it's up to you. So I'm going to burn it back to the side of a stitch. There we go. All right, we're getting there. Again, I wish you could see all of this. These are the ones that I fed through and didn't finish, and you can see my end pieces are poking out, so I'm gonna go ahead and burn this one. So I want him to look good when he's gone, all done. I have a feeling my niece is actually gonna want this one when she sees it. So you don't have to worry about it being so secure as you do in a blanket if you're just, you know, burning your end pieces to, they're already knitted through there, but if you're just doing it to kind of hide them, there's not much here. You can just get it a little warm and then stick it to it and it'll stick. You can also hot glue them, whatever you want to do. Okay, we're getting there, guys. We've got 4 on this side, 1 on this side. I'm actually going to pause it, and so I can do this really fast, and I'm just going to add the other 4 tentacles right next to this one, 1 on each row. Okay, so I did 4 in a row, okay, on each row, skipped a row, and then I'm going to do 4 here, and then there'll end up being 1 extra, you know, 1 blank row in the back here. So 4 right next to each other again. I'll be right back. Okay, our octopus has 8 tentacles, legs, whatever you want to call them. And again, with this angle here, I can't show you the whole stuffed animal, and that bothers me, but you can see the pictures. Okay, so she turned out pretty good. All right, now it's up to you what you want to do after that. Again, I like to put eyeballs on them, and here's the little gap in the front for when you do 10, just so you know you'll have a gap. You have to have a gap somewhere because there's an extra hole or an extra row. Sorry. Okay, so line up your eyes how you want them. I'm going to use the little googly eye things. I'm going to turn on my hot glue gun here. Should have did that already. And then I have one more quick thing to show you that you're going to absolutely love. Let's just get, these are, again, the eyes. These are the big ones. They're about 1 inch that you can get from any craft store or dollar store, really cheap, assorted sizes. I keep all that kind of stuff around for my plushies. Alright, so I'm just going to dab a little bit of hot glue on there with my trusty hot glue gun. You can also use Elmer's glue. I've done it before. And let me see. Hopefully I get these right because I'm doing it on camera. Alright. Every animal needs a plushie, or every plushie needs a face, I believe. And for the octopus, I've never seen anybody use anything other than just eyes. So with hot glue, you gotta be quick or it'll dry. Let me get a hold of this thing here. And I usually measure it, you know, on the height of a stitch. So there was a notch there and a notch there. And that looks okay. A little off-centered, but, you know, it is what it is. So she is done. And she's beautiful. She's got long flowing legs going everywhere, and they will stand up like that on the table. And one more thing that she needs is a baby. So to make a baby octopus, it's almost exactly the same. I cast it on 8 and used my beautiful new pink graphite color. It's absolutely just gorgeous, softest, beautifulest yarn ever. You will love this. If you bought my pink truffle before, it feels almost the same, maybe even better. I don't know why different colors feel better. So this one I cast on 8. I did exactly the same way as the other Mama Octopus. Cast on 8 and knitted 8 rows up to make it a little bit smaller. And I did glue on some eyes. Instead of making long tentacles, there's an easier, cuter way you can do it. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So since this one is 8, we're going to knit through every hole. But what we're going to do is just, let's see, let me find the stitch there. I want to stitch right on the actual row here. Get in between it. Find out where you can pull up a stitch without pulling it apart. Here we go. Okay, so you actually have to knit in between them. So pull up one stitch here, okay, and you're going to do one continuous piece. We're just going to do one stitch all the way around, and it's going to look really cute. You'll see. Hopefully I get this in the right spot. This is where I did them before. I only tried this once, and it was this one here, and then I pulled them all out. Make your stitches a little bigger here, so, you know, maybe 2 fingers, so that these loops will stick out. And then you'll pull up one stitch all the way across to where you have 8. Hopefully I did this right. And I'll show you how this is gonna look. It's like every other hole here. And just pull up another stitch so that they're sticking out like that. Okay. Again, you've probably already seen this in the picture and it spoiled the surprise. I always forget about that. I make the tutorial first and then I make the thumbnail afterwards. I'm like thinking I would have a surprise for you guys, but I already posted it. It's been a long day. That's what I always say. It's been a long day. So this piece of yarn I had already used for this, so that's why. Let's see if I did it right. So just pull up 8 of them all the way around, okay, and then that's what it's gonna look like. Isn't that cute? Love it. There was a lady in my group, Mariana, who actually did these first, and I said, I'm getting ready to do an octopus video of the one with the long tentacle legs. Is it okay that I imitate your cute little guys there, because she's addicted to them. I made a whole bunch of them, so they look really cute together. Let's see, I've got 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 exactly, and then you'll do the same thing. You can actually, since you use a one continuous piece, take this, tie it in a knot. Wish I would have left that, you know, secure it together, burn it, however you want to do here. Tie another knot. That's what I'm gonna do. I think I must have burned that piece together before, and then shove it down inside the plushie. There we go. Another cute thing you can do with this around Halloween time is make him solid white, and he might look like a ghost. So there we go. We've got Mama and Baby. Okay, I hope you enjoyed my goofiness and my tutorial, and that you had some fun with it, and you'll make lots of octopus and octopus babies, and that if you do craft fairs or whatever, you'll sell a whole bunch of them. So again, like, subscribe, comment, come to the group. I always post discounts there. We do a monthly newsletter with games. So we're doing epic knit fail right now. Everybody's posting their epic knitting fails, and there's going to be a contest, and always do something like that every month, and always, again, running yarn specials on my yarn, and post your beautiful creations that you've made, get ideas from other people. There's free grafts for the graph blankets, and a bunch more tutorials in there. So I will post all the links in the comments like I always do, and I hope you enjoyed this. Have a blessed day and happy knitting.